It's 11 p.m. and these are the headlines. The President of the Republic has conducted a partial reshuffle affecting court presidents and general prosecutors. President of the Republic extended his sincere condolences and expressed profound sympathy to the family of former Prime Minister Sidi Ahmed Ghazali. African depth of Algeria, a strategic choice, was the headline of the latest Jaish magazine, in which Algeria's role as a main actor in accomplishing stability in Africa was evoked. Interior Minister Ibrahim Oued inspected several development projects in the province of Blida and inaugurated a video surveillance center with the aim to preserve the security of citizens and fight all forms of crimes. And February 13th, 1960 is an unforgettable date that reflects the inhumanity of colonial France, as it conducted that day its first nuclear test in the Algerian Sahara, causing severe health issues to the entire region. Welcome back, everyone. First of all, and in accordance with the Constitution, in particular Articles 92 and 181, as well as Article 49 of the Organic Law on the Judiciary, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, has conducted a partial reshuffle affecting court presidents and general prosecutors. The reshuffle carried out involved the transfer of 1 Judicial Council president and 3 general prosecutors, the promotion of 13 judges to the positions of Judicial Council president or general prosecutor, and the termination of duties for 8 Judicial Council presidents and 4 general prosecutors. The appointments and changes are as follows. For Judicial Council presidents, the Judicial Council of Sétif, Yaqoubi Youssef, the one of Skikda, Wazn Abdel Hamid, Mdia Bouhamidi Nadia, Mustagana Maruf Al-Arbi, the one of Msila Mhira Hassan, Judicial Council of Iran, Bouterfas Jilali, Tisimsit Aluqa Nasr al-Din, Judicial Council of Al-Wad Daboub Al-Tayyib, and Judicial Council of Ghilizan Atmani Hussein. For general prosecutors, the Judicial Council of Batna bin Belqasim Munsif, the one of Bwira bin Daas Faisal, Algiers bin Boutiaf Muhammad Al-Kamil, Skikda Masoudi Al-Tahir, and the one of Sidi Bal-Abbas Na'ijawi Jamal, Judicial Council of Msila Fudad Jamal, Judicial Council of Maskara bin Abdullah Mustafa, and Judicial Council of Suqahras Bukhari Omar. President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune extended his sincere condolences and expressed profound sympathy to the family of former Prime Minister Sidi Ahmed Ghazali, who passed away at the age of 88. Algeria loses one of the men who served the country with dedication in high positions within state institutions, even an indelible mark as prominent international figure, a witness to a critical period in our nation's history, marked by transformative changes and pivotal events, the President wrote in his message of condolence to the late family. We bid farewell with deep sorrow to one of our intellectual elites who served the country in various capacities, including ambassador, minister and prime minister, and who made lasting contributions to the national political landscape, he added. In this time of mourning, I offer my heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathy, praying to Almighty Allah to grant the late His mercy and place him in His eternal paradise, and to grant patience and comfort upon you. To Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return, the President concluded. Army General Saad Shingriha, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense, Chief of Staff of the PNA, extended his sincere condolences to the family of the late on his behalf and all PNA personnel. He expressed heartfelt sympathy and prayed Almighty Allah to grant the deceased His mercy, welcome him into His vast paradise, and provide patience to his family during this difficult time. To Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return. Sidi Ahmed Ghazali, a major figure in Algeria's political landscape, passed away today, leaving behind a history marked with hard work and remarkable achievements for his country, Algeria. Najhtaya reports.
A refined diplomat and an astute politician, Sidi Ahmed Ghazali was a major figure in Algeria's political landscape and a statesman deeply rooted in the values of the Algerian Revolution. He witnessed and shaped crucial moments in the country's history, always answering the call of duty since 1956. His journey began as a young student engaged in the liberation struggle while pursuing his studies, eventually earning an engineering diploma. After the independence, he contributed to the country's industrial development, first as an advisor to the Minister of Industry and Energy, then as a Director of Mines and Fuels in 1965. His career took a decisive turn when he joined Sonatrach, Algeria's largest state-owned company, where he served as director from 1966 to 1977. Over 11 years, he played a key role in strengthening the national energy sector, notably overseeing the 1971 nationalization of hydrocarbons, a milestone in Algeria's economic sovereignty. Building on this experience, he held several strategic ministerial positions as Minister of Energy and Petrochemical Industries between 1977 and 1979, also as a Minister of Hydraulics and Minister of Foreign Affairs from 1989 to 1991. He also contributed significantly to the national policy making. In 1988, he took on the challenging role of Minister of Finance, leading negotiations with the International Monetary Fund during a critical economic period. Beyond his ministerial duties, he also left his mark on international diplomacy as Algeria's ambassador to Brussels. He played a pivotal role in the TAIF agreement, which helped end Lebanon's 15-year civil war. On June 5, 1991, he stepped in as a head of government, succeeding Mouloud Hamrouche in a time of democratic transition and political pluralism. As a dedicated technocrat as he was, he consistently placed the nation's interests above all else. Nicknamed the Butterfly Man, he was a modern, open-minded leader who remained faithful to his principles. His legacy endures as a visionary statesman and a skilled manager, forever etched in Algeria's history.
The funeral of the late Sidi Ahmed Ghazali will take place tomorrow after the Dhuhr prayer in the cemetery of Ben Aknoun in Algiers. To Allah we belong, and to him we shall return. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad and African Affairs Ahmed Attaf today met with the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Jashim Ad-Din. The two officials reviewed the state of fraternal relations and cooperation, discussing ways to enhance these ties, especially in the economic sector. They also exchanged views on a range of issues of mutual interest. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the National Committee Abroad and African Affairs, Lunaz Magraman, co-chaired with the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Mohammed Jashim Ad-Din, the second session of the Algeria-Bangladesh political consultations in Algiers. That session provided an opportunity for both parties to review the state of the friendly relations and cooperation between the two countries and to discuss ways to enhance it. The political consultations also allowed both sides to exchange views and analyze several regional and international issues of mutual interest, including the Palestinian and Western Sahara causes, the situation in the Sahel region, and efforts to reform the UNSC. Al-Jaish magazine recalls the commemoration of the National Day of the Martyr, a reminder of the heroic sacrifices of our heroes, and the opportunity to reaffirm Algeria's commitment to peace, security, and development in Africa, and this through its support for African resolutions while continuing to play a key role in promoting regional integration and stability. Rania Al-Bahri.
Entitled African Depth of Algeria's Strategic Choice, Al-Jaish magazine reflects on Algeria's deep historical and cultural ties to Africa, highlighting significant events such as the commemoration of Martyrs' Day and the brutal attack by French colonial forces against the Tunisian village of Sayyid Sidi Youssef, where both Algerian and Tunisian blood was shed. The editorial also discussed the nuclear explosions in the Algerian Sahara, condemning them as a cowardly crime and a permanent stain on colonial France's record. It emphasizes Algeria's role in its own liberation and its success in defeating French colonial forces, making one of the greatest revolutions in modern history. The editorial argues continues to draw inspiration from this legacy in its relationship with regional and international partners. Algeria has become a key actor, a stabilizing and unifying force in Africa. The editorial stressed that Algeria is committed to help African countries establish full sovereignty over their territories and resources. In this context, the magazine recalled a recent recognition by the UN Security Council of Algeria's leadership in preventing and fighting terrorism in Africa. This recognition also acknowledges Algeria's promotion of African security mechanisms. The editorial also underscored Algeria's dedication to its African roots as strategic choice, reaffirmed by the President Abdelmajid Tebboune in his speech at the opening of the 11th High-Level Seminar on Peace and Security in Africa in Oran. The country's National People's Army plays a crucial role in strengthening security cooperation across Africa, as pointed out by the Army General Said Chengri, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army. The editorial noted that Algeria's efforts are driven by its steadfast commitment to its core principles and its honorable positions on the global stage. As a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, Algeria defends the interests of African peoples, particularly those under occupation, such as the Palestinian and Sahrawi peoples. It continues to advocate for the end of the occupation of Western Sahara, a priority file of decolonization for Algeria, Africa and the UN.
During a working visit to the province of Blida today, the Minister of the Interior, Local Authorities and Regional Planning, Ibrahim Rouad, inspected several development projects in various municipalities. While overseeing the handover sanitation trucks to municipalities, Murad emphasized the importance of involving startups in waste management and encouraging selective sorting to preserve the environment and improve quality life. The minister also inaugurated the province's video surveillance center, a facility aimed at enhancing public safety, monitoring traffic and preventing natural disasters. And in line with the policy set by the President of the Republic to eliminate precarious housing, the Minister of the Interior oversaw the rehabilitation works of the land reclaimed following the significant operation to relocate residents of Sidi Ashur neighborhood. He reviewed the development plan, which includes the construction of public amenities. Let's have a listen to the Minister.
متواجدون في هذا المركز المهم جدا جدا جدا.
We are present in this important center, which is part of the 10 centers available to this day across the national territory. Here, the personnel offers a quality service of great capital importance for the security of citizens and for the fight against all forms of crimes. I would like to underline the colossal work accomplished by the Security Corps, thanks to the latest technologies. On this occasion, I would like to thank them for their immense sense of duty in accomplishing their missions, whether it was the elements of the People's National Army or other security bodies. Day and night, 24 hours a day, they work relentlessly for the security of citizens. Without them, the citizens of the four corners of the country couldn't live in this peace.
ما كان يعيش المواطن هذا الاطمئنان وهذا الامن والامان.
The Secretary of State to the Minister of Energy responsible for mining headed an official delegation at the opening of an exhibition in Cape Town, South Africa. During the event, she highlighted Algeria's efforts to develop the mining sector, emphasizing the national strategy aimed at attracting investments and enhancing the sector's appeal. She also reaffirmed Algeria's commitment to building sustainable partnerships with various stakeholders in the mining industry. The Secretary of State also participated in the first African-South Korean dialogue on minerals. The event brought together representatives from governments and business leaders from South Korea and several African countries. It provided the Secretary of State with an opportunity to engage in discussions with the Ethiopian Minister of Mines, as well as with heads of international institutions and companies active in the mining sector. On World Cancer Day, the Minister of Health presided over the installation of 22 subcommittees within the National Commission for Cancer Prevention and Control. The committees were tasked with preparing a national strategy for cancer care, prevention and research for the 2025-2038 period. The strategy will focus on 5 key areas: prevention, early detection, diagnosis, patient treatment and improving the recovery process. The National Conference on Cancer Prevention is set for May. And And the French nuclear tests in Algeria, in particular in Oregon, caused devastating health, environmental and long-term consequences for the local population. France, the cause of it, remains deaf to this matter. Najah Tayyar.
The first French nuclear test, known as Gerboise Bleu, took place on February 13, 1960, in Oregon, Algeria, with an explosive power 4 times greater than the Hiroshima bomb. The explosion released a radioactive cloud that spread far beyond the test site, reaching Jamena in Chad and causing black rainfall in southern Portugal just 3 days later. The radiation caused widespread cancer and genetic malformations in the local population, considered second-class citizens by the colonial France, leaving them vulnerable and exposed to long-lasting health and environmental effects.
The nuclear explosions in the Algerian desert at Regan, El Hamoudia and at Eneker in Tamrast region constitute what can only be described as a crime against humanity. It is important to point out that 85% of the population was affected by cancer.
The people living in the areas of the French nuclear tests who were treated as guinea pigs are still not recognized as victims by France. The nuclear explosion in Regan, with an explosive power exceeding 70 kilotons, continue to cause loss of life, contaminate water and harm the local flora and fauna. Reports indicate that the radiation will persist for thousands of years yet.
There is a wave of hematological abnormalities affecting the bone marrow and circulating blood in the form of leukemia or marrow cancer, and the discovery has shown that 20 years or 25 years and up to 30 years or even 35 years afterwards, there would be a second wave in the form of solid cancers.
In the open-air laboratory that was the Algerian Sahara, France did not stop at the test of Gerboise Bleu, including white, red and green gerbil experiments were conducted, all serving as a testament to a colonial power that sought to grow stronger regardless of the immense cost to the Algerian people.
Colonial France left behind deep inequalities in Africa for decades. In the heart of Niger, French oil companies exploited without restraint resources that only benefited them. The land was raped and the inhabitants suffered from extreme poverty. We're talking about a time even African leaders did not have access to data for their own wealth. Rania Al-Bahri.
We are in the Niger River Delta, one of the richest oil regions in the African continent. Yet it is also one of the most devastated regions. Here, French oil companies extract millions of barrels of oil each year, generating colossal profits. However, the local populations live in overwhelming poverty.
Look at the palm trees, look at the mango trees. Everything here is being destroyed by these fires, and no one is intervening to extinguish them. As you can see, all life signs have disappeared in this area. No trees, no fruits, no fish due to the oil spill in this lake. We are suffering from poverty and hunger.
From Niger Delta to Congo, passing through Gabon, Nigeria, Cameroon, Senegal and Guinea-Conakry, history repeats itself whether on deserts or at sea. These natural resources, supposed to be a lever of development for these countries, are plundered by French oil companies, perpetuating a big economic imbalance between Africa and the former French colonial power.
Our companies involved in exploration, drilling and production, we drill to the depth of 1,300 to 1,500 meters because this area is rich in vast amount of oil. Large quantities of oil are being produced in a non-transparent manner. It has been difficult for us to raise concerns about the oil production process carried out by our partners.
Today, Africa's brazen rejection of the French presence on its soil marks the beginning of long overdue emancipation. It's a fight to free itself from the hegemony and the exploitation of its natural resources.
To the occupied Palestinian territories now, the UNRWA warned against the worsening of the situation in the Jenin refugee camp in the northern West Bank after the occupation forces destroyed large parts of it. This comes as the people of Gaza are trying to rearrange their lives with the simplest means available amid the devastating reality imposed by the occupier. In Morocco, trade unions are calling for general strike in the country on Wednesday and Thursday in response to the high prices and the new strike law. The strike was announced by 5 unions against the government passage of the new strike bill and the deterioration of the living conditions. The strike law was described as restrictive and regressive, violating the most important human right, which is the right to protest. And that was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.